breaking news now. After months of speculation, suspense and endorsements from different parts of the country, the Vice President, Professor Yemi Osinbajo, has concluded plans to declare interest in the 2023 presidential run today. The decision followed weeks of consultation and after formally informing his principal, President Muhammadu Buhari, which culminated in a meeting last night with governors elected on the platform of the All Progressives Congress. Competent sources confirm not less than 12 governors attended the meeting called by the Vice President.
Dear Nigerians, for the past 7 years, I have served as Vice President under a true Nigerian patriot, a servant of the nation in war and peace, and a man of integrity, President Muhammadu Buhari. We have, together, worked through some of the most difficult times in the history of our nation. But we have remained focused on securing the country, on providing infrastructure, and growing our economy. As stipulated by the Nigerian Constitution, our tenure will end next year. In this period of 7 years, I have served the government in several capacities, and I have, at the direction of Mr. President, represented our country in sensitive, high-level international engagements. I've been to practically all local governments in Nigeria. I've been in markets, in factories, in schools, and farms. I've been in agricultural, mining, and oil-producing communities, in the Delta, in Kebbi, in Enugu, in Borno, in Rivers, in Plateau and Ondo, and in all other states of the Federation, listening to the diverse experiences and yearnings of our people. I've visited our gallant troops in the Northeast and our brothers and sisters in the IDP camps. I've felt the pain and anguish of victims in violent conflicts, terrorist attacks, flooding, fire, and other disasters. I've been in the homes of many ordinary Nigerians in various parts of the country. I have sat with our techpreneurs in Lagos, Edo, and Kaduna, with our Nollywood and Kannywood actors, with our musicians from Lagos, Onitsha, and Kano, and I've spoken to small and large businesses. I stood where they stood, and I sat where they sat. I know their hopes and aspirations and their fears. And I believe that in those hopes and aspirations are the seeds for the great Nigeria that we all desire. I believe that the very reason why the Almighty God gave me these experiences, these insights, and these opportunities is that they must be put to the use of our country and its great peoples. Which is why I am today, with utmost humility, formally declaring my intention to run for the office of the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria on the platform of our great party, the All Progressives Congress. If by the grace of God and the will of the people, I am given the opportunity, then I believe that first we must complete what we have started. Radically transforming our security and intelligence architecture, completing the reform of our justice system, focusing on adequate remuneration and welfare of judicial personnel, and ensuring justice for all and the observance of the rule of law, rapidly advancing our infrastructure development, especially power, roads, railways, and broadband connectivity, providing an excellent environment for businesses to thrive, taking the agricultural revolution to the next level, especially mechanization and developing the farm-to-table value chain, making sure that the government, its agencies and regulators serve the business community, creating a tech economy that will provide jobs for millions of young Nigerians, enhancing our social investment program to a full-scale social welfare program, completing the promise of lifting 100 million Nigerians out of poverty within this decade, completing the task of ensuring that all Nigerians, male and female, attend school, reforming our educational system for relevance to the challenges of this century, completing the task of universal health coverage for all, and strengthening the capacity of states and local governments to deliver on their respective mandates. Above all, front and center of our efforts will be the provision of jobs and opportunities for our young people. I now most solemnly and respectfully seek the support of fellow Nigerians everywhere in this land and the diaspora, young and old, male and female, in the great and exciting journey that we have ahead of us. I seek your own support. We will, working together, establish by the grace of God the Nigeria of our dreams in a few short years. We will build on the foundation laid by our predecessors. We will need to move with much speed, intentionality, and perseverance towards the vision of a prosperous, stable, and secure nation. I'm convinced beyond doubt that we have the creativity, the courage, the talent, and the resources to be the foremost black nation on earth. Let us now birth the expectations of greatness conceived generations before us. Let us build a Nigeria where the man from Nnewi sees the man in Guzo as his brother, where the woman in Warri sees the woman in Jalingo as her sister, where the love of our nation burns alike in the hearts of boys and girls from Boko to Yenagoa, where everywhere in this land is home for everyone, where our diversities, our tribes and faiths unite us rather than divide us. Let our tribes become one tribe, the Nigerian tribe, where all are treated fairly, justly, and with respect, where all are given equal access to the abundant opportunities that God has bestowed on this nation. It is time. God bless and keep our republic and her great people. God bless you.
Vice President Yemi Osinbajo there declaring for presidency 2023 election. Well, for more on that declaration, let's bring in Emmanuel Bello, who joins us in our offsite studio. Emmanuel, good morning. What a way to start the Easter week. Vice President Yemi Osinbajo just made a formal declaration that he wants to run on the APC ticket for that 2023 general election. Now, this has come after months, weeks of speculation, suspense, rumors here and there. Is he going to declare? Is he not going to declare? Remember, This Day newspaper, our sister publication, said last month he was going to declare a little bit after the APC convention. I'm curious, Emmanuel, what are your thoughts on this new development moving forward in the 2023 general election?
Yeah, well, first and foremost, it clears all those doubts and, of course, establishes what This Day say, that right after the APC convention, that this declaration will happen. So this is like, confirming that exclusive story. It gives it the authority that it deserves. But again, even the declaration itself is classy. You can see with those flags behind, Vice President Osinbajo, and it brings out what a whole lot of Nigerians have continuously say about him. His demeanor, the fact that he's professorial, and then talk about his experience. This is a professor, this is a lawyer. He's also a man of the clock. He's a pastor. Yesterday's breaking of those fasts was very significant, very profound, that he chose to do this at a time that both Christians and Muslims are breaking their fast yesterday. And then, the political side of it was that he was able to garner 12 governors of the Federation, the 12 governors of the APC to that event. No other declaration has come this strong and this heavy. Before now, the consultations were there. The speculations too were heavy. But, he's kept his cool all along. And, exclusively reported by this day that he was going to do this, and he's just done it now. And listening to that speech, you know that he has got all the elements that a speech of that nature requires. His thoughts on unity, on the economy, on even their records. Many people will question that, but the record so far of his immediate boss right now, the president, he's touched on that too. Quite a fantastic speech. I'm sure the whole of today, a whole lot of people are going to weigh in on that speech to look at various angles to it, to fact check some of his claims. But fantastic outing.
Fantastic acting, you will say. Well, there are many sides to this. One, he has to be contending with his, if you like, godfather in politics, Ahmed Bola Tinubu, Senator Ahmed Bola Tinubu, former governor of Lagos State. That's one. And secondly, on the platform of APC, there's the question of equity and justice for the Southeast, not just the South. So on many fronts, how would you want to look at this? And does he have, politics is a game of numbers, does he have the popularity that probably, or the tentacles probably that his godfather Tinubu has across the length and breadth of the nation to be able to stand toe-to-toe with him when it comes to APC primaries?
Well, speaking of consultations and tentacles and his spread, Osinbajo has actually, and he said it in this speech, he spent a lot of time doing a lot of consultation. He's gone around. He said he's sat with people. He's appealing directly to people's mandate. He's talking to Nigerians, directly. And he's not just counting on what the political bigwigs or bigwigs will do for him, but individuals, talking about the passion he's felt for people in the Nollywood, for Kannywood, for women, for youth, for people. Talking about one point, they say he wants to see a woman in Owerri, transacting with a woman in Jalingo. I mean, it can't get more diverse than that. So he's actually latching on the people's will, people's strength, and he's got a lot of that. If you ask me, a lot of people, a lot of support groups, a lot of support base, rooting for Osinbajo, looking at him as a break from what used to be, and that of what she said, his manners, his demeanor, his presentations, and the way he's carried along, apart from being professorial in most cases, they've looked at his candor, his honesty, what looks like transparency from him, a different kind of politician. So those are the things that people have always latched on, and of course those other issues are there. And you agree with me that there are Nigerians who are saying that, look, given the kind of serious problems that we have, we need serious people right now. There are people who are not even keen about zoning as much as you think they are. Of course, those issues are there. The governors just sat at the weekend to say, look, power must shift to the South governors. I mean, the South governors, and some of them saying the Southeast must produce the governor. But what Osinbajo is doing here is saying that, look, I am the candidate for change. I'm the candidate for dealing with these problems. I come with some, not a lot of baggage, but this is me. Yeah, you all know me. You know who I am. I've sat with you. I understand the problems. I understand the passion. When he was doing the trader money thing, he has, he went around, sat with market women, and he seemed to understand these problems. And that's what he's saying in this speech. He's saying, look, I am the candidate for that kind of thing. I'm reaching out to the people. So, barring all these other issues that you spoke about, especially, a lot of people will say that he's silent on this speech about that. That he says relationship with the Jagaban, Ahmed Bola Tinubu. He didn't say much about that. No, but he's not even touching on that. But it's something, like you say, that a lot of people will be wondering how people from the Tinubu camp will wake up this morning to look at this and wonder if this is not an affront. With one paper actually saying he's daring his boss. So this is daring, this is courageous, this is bold, and this is appealing to a segment that really matters, the critical mass, the people. And that's what he's doing with this speech, going to the heart of the matter and saying, look, I know you, you know me, and I think I can do the kind of job that you want me to do.
Definitely a fantastic speech from Professor Yemi Osinbajo there, and also not focusing, like you said, on his so-called political godfather. I mean, I don't think that would have been any necessary importance to that speech. But you mentioned something, Emmanuel. You said that Nigerians, we have serious problems in the country, and we deserve serious-minded people to be ruling us. And some people have argued that Professor Yemi Osinbajo is part of this government. He's vice president, and they've argued that as a lawyer and even as his capacity as a pastor, he hasn't really done much, and he doesn't really have enough experience to get that #1 ticket. Another angle is that, like I just mentioned, yes, he's a pastor with the Redeemed Christ Church of God, and also he can be categorized as an elitist in the elitist category of Nigerian. This might be the first time that the church and the elitist group in Nigeria will really come out to vote, and even the youth as well, because Yemi Osinbajo really reiterates and really speaks to the youth of this nation. So do you think that would play a positive connotation to his ambition to be president?
Yes, Nkechi, you're right. A lot of people also have questioned that. And from the start of the speech, he wanted to talk to that. He spoke to that strongly. He said he served under a patriot. There are people that will take him up on that. He says he served under a patriot, worked with a patriot. And in every twist, in every turn, you see Osinbajo trying to practically defend his president. That's what vice presidents do. They stand with the president, they defend him, and they try as much as possible to, give some kind of better narrative. And so in this speech, he started with that. He said, look, I served under a patriot. He's not saying much about the president, but looking at his patriotism, he say he's a man who loves the country, he's a man who loves this country, and that he's trying to do his best. He's trying to give the best interpretation of their stewardship. And because whether he likes it or not, he's going to be tied with the fortunes or the misfortunes of this administration. A lot of people, we benchmark fact-check him against all that he's done in the past 8 years. Talking about the experience, for somebody who's been vice president, according to him, he's come a long way. Before now, he's been in government too, in Lagos State. So he's saying that, look, because the vice presidency actually affords you a lot of experience, a lot of opportunity to see what's going on. Don't forget that Vice President Atiku also leverages on the fact that he was vice president before. So it's a vantage position for anybody, considering the fact that you're close to the president, you look at his mind, you read his mind. In most cases, you also have opportunities to actually be the acting president from time to time. So that gives you a first-hand, front row seat in understanding how power runs, especially at that level. So it doesn't get better than that as far as experiences are concerned. What people seem to be saying about him is also what you noted, which is the fact that he seems to be, elitist on one hand, and of course being a professor and all of that. And then of course the church aspect of it, with people even criticizing that he might not be a middle of the road kind of candidate, somebody who is a pastor, who is who is to be, quote unquote, a candidate of that sector. So yes, but talking about youth and women and all that, in this speech he also tried to appeal to that segment. And if you look at him, he's got age on his side. He's not compared to many of these other people running, especially his boss. You can say that yes, he's got the energy, the drive that a lot of people will be looking to. But yes, Nigerians are going to fact check all he's done in this government. They are going to query his beliefs. What does he think? What does he stand for? What does he represent? His Christian belief. Yesterday, in breaking that fast, he did it with a lot of Muslim in attendance. It was iftar, and you see that was also very profound, because he tries to say that, look, I am not just a Christian leader. I am a leader for everyone. So that's what he tried to achieve with that yesterday. Besides, it's the Lent period as well, and most Christians are also fasting. So these are the things that a lot of people are going to check, they are going to question. But above all, a lot of Nigerians will be concerned with the issue of competence. Is he competent? Can he do the job? What does he bring to the table? What about transparency? What about the issues we are talking about? In this speech, he tried to show that, look, he understands the problem of insecurity, the problem of the economy, and all of that. And in the past, in his speeches, he's always said that, look, I understand the problem. A lot of Nigerians will query his competence beyond, and his character too, beyond some of these other things that some people are considering.
All right, Emmanuel. Politics, a game of numbers. North has the votes. We'll see who the president throws in his towel, whether him or his boss or any other person. Thank you so much for the analysis. You're watching Daybreak.